Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we are talking about this thing, Football Manager 2018. What I want to talk to you about today is what facts do we know about FM 2018 so far? Spoiler, not a massive amount. But I've also gone a bit Sherlock Holmes and also found out lots of information that hints at what is to come for FM18. And also then, and I think I'm pretty spot on with most of this stuff here, but also then I'm going to talk about what I would like to see in FM18 and also my plans for FM18 when it comes out. So, this first bit will be relatively short. What we know exactly right now, factual evidence, right? So, we know that the release date is November the 10th. We know that the beta comes out about 2 weeks before. If you pre-ordered, you get into the beta. That's all good. We also know that right now, I'll let you guys know, just in case you haven't pre-ordered it already, is that it's going to be £37.99 pounds or your regional equivalent. But at the moment, up until October the 9th, you can pre-order it 25% off. If you own FM17, it's in your Steam library. You get so it's for £28.49. So make sure you order it before then if you're after it. So that's pretty much what we know. The only other information is this tweet here. I'll put it up there from Miles himself, who's the director of the studio. For that waiting, good start. The FM18 headline features video will be out this time next week. Then there'll be other videos. There'll be other videos for a few weeks, which is already an upgrade on FM17. Let's not go into that. But so that was posted on the 22nd of September. So 29th of September will be the headline features. Okay, that's all the information we're 100% sure about. Now, here's where I've gone a bit Sherlock Holmesy and stuff. There's been lots of rumours. Okay, the first things first is I want to show you the first little hints we got of what's to come in FM18. This is a screenshot from Lelujo's vlog. It's at the NVA, National Video Game Arcade. They're doing a special feature on Football Manager, a special event. Go and check it out. It's worth going to check out in Nottingham. And this photo here is on the wall in the museum. And basically it says the development of the match engine from 2008 to 2017. So as you can see, all the way back to 2008, we're just in 2D. 2009 was when the 3D match engine came up. And then it sort of, developed all the way along. And then, as you can see, the bottom right corner, 2018, it sort of says question mark. What they're going to do is replace that with the 3D match engine once it's revealed. And my first thought on seeing this was like, well, hang on. It kind of shows that it's not massively improved. Yeah, it's got a bit nicer looking and there's lots more animations. But none of this is revolutionary, like especially in what we're talking almost 9 years. So I was thinking, my first thought when I saw this was, maybe they're going to do a new 3D match engine, because then that would be cool to look at. Imagine, look, so steady, small improvements all the way along. 2018, bosh, look at this match engine. It's sexy. All that good stuff, right? So that was my first thought was, I don't know why they'd show this off unless there was something big for 2018. And then Miles and the guys at Sports Interactive, I think it was during their Q&A that they had at the event, and he made the joke that when FM18 releases, no one will be wanting to use the 2D match engine. So clearly that means either they're going to make the 2D match engine worse than it is, or remove it, which obviously is not going to happen either way, because lots of people still use it, or that the 3D match engine is going to be much improved. It's going to be so much improved that those 2D people are going to swap to 3D. Well, I know he sort of said that as a joke, but there are a large percentage of people that will probably always play in 2D. Even if 3D look like FIFA, they're going to play in 2D. But that sort of all suggests that there's going to be a 3D match engine. And I found some factual information, speak English, that sort of suggests the exact same thing. Let us look at the technical specification, the minimum requirements to run the game on FM17 compared to FM18. So here it is up there. Firstly, I'd like to point out that weirdly, for the first time in years, I believe, they've not changed the logo. The year is normally a different colour every year, but apparently they're just sticking with it, right? Just to point out. First things to notice first, the big one, storage requirements. Football Manager 2017 takes 3 gigs of space. Football Manager 2018 is 7 gigs of space. Over double. So either... The only things I can think of that are going to take a massive amount of space are obviously the match engine. What else could it be? Are they going to add a photo for all the players? Because if you look in, if I look in my on my computer, my Football Manager folder is actually 7 gig. Funny enough, because I've downloaded, you know, all the team badges. I've got all the save files, but I've also downloaded all the photos, the mega packs that show all the league, all the images and stuff for the players. Which I can't see them doing. I don't know if they even have the licenses even to show players. So what I was thinking was, okay, maybe they've redone. You know how sort of the regen players in the game, they look a bit rubbish, don't they? It looks a bit dated. They're the sort of made up image of these players on their information screen. If they, I'm just trying to sort of spitball ideas, and the only possible thing is maybe they're making like really nice regens. They've got a much better system for that, and it's got it's HD photos of all these different regens and stuff, which I just can't see happening. A lot of the background coding and stuff each year is going to get slightly bigger. Like, say, for instance, the social page thing that they introduced last year. You know, so it's a brand new feature, but hard drive space-wise, that's still going to be pretty marginal. You know, it might be 100 meg or 200 meg at a guess, but it's nothing. So... And to sort of go along with my theory here, if we look at the graphics, so it's the same operating systems, it's the same processor, it's the same RAM, but graphics. So an Intel GMA 3100 for 17, GMA 4500 for 18, a GeForce 9600 for 18, an 8600 for 17. Again, with the Radeon 2400 to 3650. It's definitely an upgrade. It's not a massive upgrade. It's the same amount of RAM. It's the same processor. Obviously, they want to keep the game able to play on people's laptops and stuff like that. It's not supposed to be one of these games that's supposed to be for, you know, the top-end gaming machines, because that would just cut their audience by probably 90%. So, I'm guessing that it's an entire... My feeling is that it's an entirely new engine. Right, the old one is 7 years old now. When game designers build an engine that they can build a game off, there's limitations within that engine. So eventually, you can only do so much with this initial engine you've built. Eventually, you're just going to have to build a brand new engine, and I think that's what they're going to do. The other alternative is that it's just heavily modified the older engine and stuff like that. But my gut says that it's going to be a brand new 3D match engine, which I am very, very, very excited for. I think it'll be so nice to sort of see it. I think, because I talk a lot about my biggest pet hate is the goalkeepers and the mistakes they made and their positioning and stuff. But a lot of that is argued whether that's to do with the engine itself not being able to show correctly or not having the amount of animations to be able to correctly put your goalkeeper in that position. It's not necessarily that goalkeeper is just Simon Mignolet, like, aka quite bad. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. I think this is what's needed. I think the fact that the memory is the same and the processor is the same suggests that because what you need to do is, as a Football Manager creator, as a Football Manager developer, is even if you're making a new engine, you want to have lots of settings on the graphics so you can turn it down if you've just got a basic laptop and you still want to play it. So I can't see how you get 4 gigs extra. I think either it's a massively modified engine, revamped, or it's a brand new engine. My gut says brand new engine. Other than that, we don't know anything at all about FM18 until the headline features. Whether that headline feature on the 29th September is just the match engine reveal, which it could possibly be. Now, on to quickly just what I want to see, and then I'll talk about what I'm doing for FM18. What I would like to see is... I'm very happy to see the 3D match engine. I'm a 3D player. I like looking at nice graphics. I'm very much looking forward to that. But I think the biggest thing for me, apart from stuff like we talked about before, like fixing goalkeepers and stuff like that, and certain positionings as a general rule of thumb, but maybe the 3D match engine might fix some of those issues, is training. Miles and the gang at SI have repeatedly talked about when somebody suggests some sort of silly feature, like, oh, why can't we spend our wages on houses and cars and silly little things like you could do in the old LMA manager or FIFA manager. He's always said, this is, we're sticking to a pure simulation of Football Manager here. So training is a ridiculously large part of football in real life. So I think they need to work on it. Miles has said previously, when asked about the training, when are you going to revamp training? He says, well, nobody uses it. But my reaction to that is, well, nobody uses it because it's so horribly basic. You just basically set it up at the beginning of the season to do a bit of team cohesion. When that's done, you just work on tactics, and when that's done, you just work on balanced or attacking or however you fancy. But there's no real tweaking to it. There's no old school piggy in the middle and setting up training regimes for your strikers and stuff like that. And I'd really like that. I think if you're talking about simulation, you need that stuff. Other than that, I don't think there's a massive amount that I'm desperately looking for. Just off the top of my head, I can't. Just obviously like tweaks here and there and stuff like that. But no, I don't think there's a massive other stuff. Just general tweaks that make the game run a bit nicer and flow better from screen to screen. Sometimes it can still, even for me that's been playing it 20 years, is still finding shit. If I don't look at something regularly, I'm like, where is that screen and stuff like that. So just sort of minor tweaks and freshes. I think that would do. If they went brand new 3D match engine, we've revamped the training, and here's 100 other little tweaks and fixes and stuff like that, I'm all good. Also, what lends to the whole thought of this big change of this 3D match engine is that last year, FM18, I loved it. I always loved Football Manager. It's fucking brilliant. Best value game in the world. But it didn't feel massively different. It felt like a sort of 16.5. It felt, and if you look back at the history of Football Manager, you sort of see the big leaps every couple of years. So it feels like we're due one. And it also feels like they're going to push this one more. Last year was terrible in terms of marketing. This year, we're getting a proper video on the 29th of September, and then we're getting weekly videos with that extra stuff. So I'm all for this. So the last thing I want to talk about is what I'm doing for Football Manager 18. I've sort of told a few people in streams and stuff like that, but to give you my official, this is what's going on. So when the beta comes out, I like to do a mini sort of 2-week beta save, because there's usually a patch that fixes a few bits that sometimes doesn't carry over to the main game. So Cardiff Met Uni, the football team that I did in the Journeyman, asked me a couple of months ago if I was going to do a Football Manager save with them in FM18. So I said, yeah, cool. We'll do a 2-week beta save with the mighty Harry Owen and Cardiff Met Uni, just to have a play with the new game and beta and stuff like that. And then that'll just be a little 2 weeks thing, maybe get 3 seasons done or something like that, see if we can win the Welsh Premier League. And then with FM18, there will be the return of the Journeyman, because you guys loved it. I fucking absolutely loved it. It was so much fun, not just playing the game, but working out what country we were going to move to, houses, working out how much we were getting paid so we could work out where we were going to live, renting apartments, buying houses and cars and getting sponsorship and all the silly little storylines that went on with the Journeyman, going to the job centre, all that sort of stuff. The difference this year is it's going to be Journeyman worldwide. Last year was just Europe, right? So this is going to be focused on the world. I want to discover and go to some of the weird countries of the world, managing random teams, discovering what their league system, because every country and every league has their own weird rules and ways it's done, and playoff systems and promotions and relegations, all this sort of good stuff. And I just want to discover more of the footballing world rather than the same old, the Premiership or Serie A or something like that. I think we'll start off where the rule will be anywhere but Europe. We're going to start off with no job, lowest coaching badges, anywhere but Europe, and then we're going to dot around the leagues for a few years and stuff like that. What we might end up doing, when we're nearing the end of the Journeyman, bearing in mind last year's Journeyman was 192 episodes. It's a long old save. is that we might come back to Europe to finish. Maybe I'll do a year in the Premiership or something to finish the series, or a year in the Serie A or something like that, just to sort of round off the series, come back home sort of thing. I'm planning to do the map like we did last year, so we can work out how many miles we've travelled around. It's going to be big this year. If we're doing worldwide, the travelling is we've got to beat last year's record. We'll have to have a look at that. So that's going to be my main save, but I have so much more planned for FM18. So I have a book. A few of you have seen this book, but nobody's seen inside it. It's called Ideas and Shit. And it is my book of ideas and shit, funny enough. And I've got a list in there of about 30 experiments I want to do next year. I want to do lots of experiments. Not just, we'll do some of the sort of normally stuff experiments, but I've got some really sort of weird and wonderful experiments. But I'm also going to be asking you guys to suggest stuff, or if you find an interesting database or something on Steam, to send it my way, and we can maybe do an experiment out of that. Some experiments might be over course of a couple of episodes. Some might be one-offs. I'm also planning to do some tutorial videos. I get asked this a lot. People come to my channel because of, let's say, Motorsport Manager, and then they go, oh, I really want to get into it, but it's so complex. Any of you veterans that have played FM for years, if you just take a step back and look at FM, it is ridiculously hard to get into. It's also got no sort of tutorial. Those yellow pop-up question marks does not a tutorial make. So I'm going to do, from the ground up, a complete guide on how to play Football Manager. I'm not going to tell you what the best tactics and stuff are like that, and how to get the most out of Prozone and stuff, but I'm going to talk about exactly how you set up a game, what does adding, removing leagues do, and all that sort of stuff, through to setting up a basic tactic, how to pick your squad, how to do your training, and all the other stuff that goes with it. Staff responsibilities is a big one. Basically, a beginner's guide tutorial to the entire game. It might be over the course of a few, probably will, because it's quite a complex game. Maybe it might be a 5-part series or something like that. But as soon as I've been sort of doing FM18 for a couple of weeks, maybe after the beta, so I'm familiar with all the new features, then I'll launch into this sort of big, guide to Football Manager. There'll also be other little mini saves that might sprinkle in as well, whether it be from an experiment that we've just enjoyed and we wanted to carry on for a bit, or I might just do a couple of little one club sort of road to glory type stuff, taking a League 2 club all the way to the Premiership or something, or get sacked. No promises. But anything like that just sort of tickles my fancy, or people that suggest in the comments that they might be interested in and stuff like that. My role is on my YouTube channel is to do what I enjoy. So if any time sort of stuff becomes boring, I'm happy to sort of end it. Or if you guys aren't enjoying it, then, we'll talk about it. But the Journeyman was so much fun. It's the best save I've ever done on YouTube. If you haven't watched it, go. It's worth it. 192 episodes. People have binged it in a week. So I'm just saying, you could do it, right? And then I might do some sort of squad guides. I did the squad guides last year. They were quite popular. Just a sort of basic guide to each of the sort of, say, Premier League clubs with their basic squad, where their weaknesses are, what sort of formation you might play. I sort of might do sort of some of those as we go by, or just basic sort of tutorial stuff, like how to import the big mega packs to get all the player faces, how to fix the name ring rights and all that sort of stuff. So that is basically my plans for FM18. Once the Journeyman finishes, we'll think of another save together of what we want to do next. Normally it lasts for a good 6 months of the game. So there we go, guys. I'd like to know in the comments what you would like to see in Football Manager 2018. Or, if you don't want to just do a big sort of wonder list of all the stuff you'd love to see, what do you think FM18 is going to look like? That's quite an interesting question. And see who can get closest in there. And also, do you agree with my thoughts? Is it a brand new match engine? Is it just a much updated match engine? Or is it something I'm just not thinking of? Have they just updated 4K graphics and it's taken 4 gigs of space on a hard drive to do that? Who knows? But there you go. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'd appreciate it if you liked this video. It does help this video get found in search rankings and stuff like that. Share this video with your friends. That's always lovely to see. I've got a little on my analytics. I can see people that shared it. So thank you to everyone that does do that. Comment below and all that good stuff. And I'll see you for FM18. just go watch all my FM17 stuff again before, you know, just to warm up for it. Bye-bye.